This is Jason for Chicago News. Some days are better than others when you get to review a car, and this week is about as good as it gets. We've got the 2016 Dodge Challenger 392 Scat Pack. Quite a mouthful, but it's a heck of a car. When Dodge first introduced this throwback Challenger version, I wasn't the biggest fan of the looks. To me, the proportions seemed a little bit off, and it just didn't look as refined as some of its competitors. But they've been really doing a lot of work on the front end here. It's got this lower chin spoiler. They've tied in the look of the grille and the headlights much better. Still a little bit of work to be done around the back with the proportions. And I've never been a fan of the wheel gap that these cars have. But overall, this is definitely the best looking Challenger that we've had yet. Here's what I'm talking about with these proportions. The rear, you see they're going for this muscular look with this raised line here. But when you add up the really tall tire with the really big wheel gap and then this higher piece here, that it just ends up making the back of this car look too tall compared to everything else. That's really my only complaint. Other than that, it's a beautiful car. It certainly gets a lot of stares when you're going down the road. Under the hood is where really all the magic is in this car. 392 cubic inch, 6.4 liter Hemi. This engine puts out 485 horsepower, and like we said, this version's got the shaker hood, which, as you can see, this filter and this scoop is attached to the engine, and it forces air into this sealed air box. So it's a ram air intake. Really cool setup. And honestly, this is the heart of this beast right here. This is what makes this car special. You can stand here all day and talk about what this car looks like, but you want to know how it drives. Let's be honest, you don't buy a car like this for a fancy interior or nice materials, so it doesn't really surprise that the door panels are cheap, thin plastic, and it doesn't really feel that luxurious. It's a nice enough interior, but really you don't buy that car for this. You buy that car for this. This car is also a one-way ticket to getting lots of tickets. This car has a pretty intensive set of apps here on the infotainment, not the least of which are some performance control and monitoring applications. There's 0 to 60 time, quarter mile time that gets recorded each time you drive and sets the best for the car, which right now is at 4.8, which we're going to try and top the 4.8 0 to 60, which I'm very confident we can do. It's also got launch mode, and you can set the launch RPM, so just a really powerful set of features that you have here. As far as safety features, this car's got a really comprehensive set. It's got airbags and seat belts. I'm sure they're really good airbags, but if you're looking for lane departure warning and cross traffic monitor and all that, that's one thing they didn't skimp on the muscle car experience here. Basic as it gets, but again, you don't buy this car for safety features. We're on a pretty bumpy road right now, and as you can see, this thing does not ride the best. And this is actually going to end up being a mantra for our review. You don't buy this car for a good ride, so you'll expect this. It's on performance tires, tight suspension. It actually handles really well for a big, heavy muscle car. As you might expect over a bumpy road, it's not going to be the most comfortable. The proper place to experience a car like this is on a racetrack. And, driving around city traffic in a car like this, while it's still fun, and you certainly get a lot of looks when you're driving this car around, it's really feels choked down. It feels like it needs to be let out on the open road or on the open racetrack. So whoever buys one of these, I hope they take it to the strip every now and again or take it to a track day with it, because it really is a high performance car. So it was a real disappointment for all of us here when we got our test car and it had this automatic transmission. But I have to say, for an automatic, it is probably the second best automatic I've used as far as having manual shift capabilities and being able to control it. A lot of the cars will have shifters, pedal shifters, or up and down shifters that you can use, but they get overridden. The car will downshift when it needs to. It'll upshift when it hits red line. This car will let you go to the rev limiter. It'll lug in 5th gear at 10 miles an hour and not try to downshift for you. So it's a great experience, probably second only to the Cadillac CTS-V transmission. Another thing you notice when driving this car is just how long that hood is. The dash is long before even the windshield starts, and then the hood is even longer, so you've got all of this space ahead of you. it's a real throwback feeling to sit here and see all of that out in front of you. But this is a big car, mind you, and it's a heavy car. But if you're going to do a throwback muscle car, you got to do all those design details, and you're going to end up with a heavy car no matter what. Another great throwback feature on, as you might expect on the Shaker Edition, is an actual proper shaker hood. And what that is, for those who don't know, is the actual air cleaner sticks up through the hood and moves with the engine. So when you step on the gas and the engine moves, you can see the hood scoop moving with it. It's a really cool feature, and props to Dodge for bringing it back. This car is a great value for the category for, you know, these ultra high performance muscle cars. $43,000 is starting price for the version that we're in, which gives you the 485 horsepower, 6.4 liter Hemi engine. You know, you're not gonna really find too many cars that are approaching 500 horsepower like that for this price point. So it's a great value if you want literal bang for your buck. This car is a beast for the money. If you're in the market for one of these throwback hot rod cars, you probably already have your mind made up about what your favorite brand is, but you definitely should take a look at the Challenger. This particular one, the Scat Pack, is a great option combo, but they have a whole range of models. If you go check out the website, you can build one of your own. Definitely worth checking out. A hoot to drive, and we've got more rubber to lay down.